With it being cold outside, sometimes you just want to stay home and read a good book and drink some coffee. This week, we talk with author Joseph Hartwell about his book, 3 Minutes Out of Time.
Pour the coffee.
Top of the mustache to you, and welcome to another episode of Mustaches and Coffee. Where the topic goes, nobody knows. I'm Isaac.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And we're glad to have all you mustache and coffee lovers with us. Joining us for this special episode is Joseph. How are you doing today?
Good. How you doing?
Yeah, we're doing good.
Doing great.
Yeah.
It's great to have you on because you have a novel we're talk about. We wanted to branch out a little bit. We like to read books here at Mustaches and Coffee. So you're actually our first author on the podcast. How does that feel to have that honor?
Big, real big. This is my first podcast, so I'm
You got it. You're good.
little nervous. I don't even know, where do I stare? Do I stare at you guys?
Well, before we jump into it, quick reminder, if you could do us a solid, make sure you hit that like button, hit that notify bell, and subscribe so you'll be up to date all things mustaches and coffee. So we're, again, excited to have you with us as our first author. We're interested to know what got you into writing books or have an interest to writing your own novel.
Well, if you read the bio on inside the book, there's a pretty long thing there about me being raised in a convent for over talkative minds and not learning how to read till I was 25 and trying to overcome all that. That's a little exaggerated. No, I was really, when I was a kid, I was really interested. I wrote like 2 or 3 children's books when I was a kid. And they, of course, went nowhere, but I was just into it. And then it never really was like something I thought I could do when I got older until, and if you read it in the front of the book, it talks about this one. And there was a friend of mine who since passed away. So he can't corroborate this or not. So that's really how you got to pick these stories. I'm sad that he passed away, but I can embellish this to whatever degree I want now. And there's no way to know if this is true or not. But no, it is true. So do you guys remember that movie, The Village?
Yeah.
It came out, M. Night Shyamalan. Okay, so I went and saw that movie, and this friend of mine was like, hey, it was a good movie. And I was like, yeah, but you remember that movie had a significant twist where like if you give that part away, you might as well not.
Yeah.
So he was asking questions about it, and I was worried I was going to give something away. So I decided to just make up an entirely different plot to that movie. And I was like, well, here's the thing. It's about, because remember in the previews, it shows them back in like colonial, settlers time.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, all right, here's the thing. It's about back in colonial times, a story that like a lot of people don't realize. But you remember how when the colonists came in and they like wiped out all the predators because they were like, they want to settle. So they need to get rid of, like, that's why we don't have mountain lions and bears and stuff in a lot of these places. And what you don't realize is it turns out those weren't the apex predators. Okay. So there was like another predator that existed during colonial times. And it preyed on those apex predators. That's what actually kept them in line. And then when the colonists came in and they like wiped all those predators out, it no longer had prey. And the only thing that was left that was considered a predator was humans. And so that's what you see like in the preview, doing all this stuff. Anyway, so they were like psyched to see this movie. And then when they came back, they were like, "Dude, that was serious letdown." After they're like, "I would not watch the movie that you told me about." So that was like 10 years ago or whatever, 15 years ago, whenever that happened. So um, I had this in the back of my mind. I was like, you know what? For just pulling that out of the air, that was pretty good. And I should write that down. I never wrote it down, but then later on, I thought, I'm going to try and write that into a book. And that is not the book that I wrote. That is that is the book I sat down to write, and somewhere it deviated to something not even close.
So I got your book here. So one question I do have for you. So what was the process of actually getting your book published and getting it? I think it's on Amazon, maybe some other sites, but how did that come about? I've always wondered
Yeah,
about.
so you don't. Everybody can go out there and do just what I'm about to tell you I did. You can now I fortunately, because I have a background in computer programming and all that kind of stuff, was able to do this on my own. But people can, and it's not that big a deal. There's also tools out there some people can use even that they don't have that ability to create like ebooks and things like that. But now, if you can do that, there's a process through Amazon called Kindle Direct Publishing. And then there's another service out there. I use one called Draft to Digital. And then there's another book service out there called Readsy Editor that will, you can write in that and it'll put it in for you into a format for PDF publishing or ebook format and things like that. Then you can set up an account with Amazon KDP, and then you can get it published out there. And so it's kind of like if it's one of those things that, like the guy I was talking to, he said, go ahead and do it. Write the book because you enjoy writing. And he said it's a nice legacy to leave behind. And if Oprah happens to stumble upon your book,
Let me know.
then you've got a shot.
Yeah.
And that's where it is. And so most, even your best authors nowadays will sell, even what authors who I read regularly, my wife reads regularly, only sell 10,000 copies a year, maybe. They're
Right.
not, it's like, and those are, well-established authors, narrated books out there and all that kind of stuff but if you enjoy the process, you enjoy doing it, it's still worth it.
Very nice. So if you were going to just kind of give a quick summary, Ben kind of showed the cover. They say don't judge a book by its cover, but if I don't know, there's that saying, what's your elevator pitch? How would you describe the content of this book for someone if they were interested in picking up their own copy?
Yeah. So it is, I would say it's kind of a combination of a mystery. There's a mystery involved for sure. There's kind of plot twist, mystery, some sci-fi elements to it as well that kind of lend into that. A lot of history in it because it spans over a period of about 400 years. It starts in the 1600s and goes from the 1600s all the way into a little bit into our future time.
Okay.
And so and the book kind of deals a lot with there's some redemption story arcs. I had kind of a rough situation with one of my brothers that I don't get to see now, and a lot of there's some of that in there as far as kind of, I don't know, it sounds corny to say it, but some of it was kind of cathartic. There's a relationship in there between two brothers that I kind of use in some ways to kind of describe my feelings about him and how much he meant to me and things like that, and some of the feelings that I had was loss and things like that.
So did you have any writer's block in this process? I know your book's bigger.
I believe it or not, I didn't. I wrote this book in about 6 weeks.
Wow.
Now, that being said, I'm working on my second book, and I am about 70% through it and just reached the wall. writer's block. Like I wrote this one. Now I added some stuff to it, to beef up like descriptions of scenes and all that kind of stuff. Like the first version was probably 400 pages. And then I went back and added, stuff, where you don't do that the first draft of like describing the room and the forest and just all the stuff that, sets the scene.
Yeah.
But the first part I wrote in like 6 weeks. The second one, it's been like a year or more. Yeah.
There you go. Well, I think that sets the stage for your book very well, and now we can look forward to another book too. So that's a very nice preview for us.
Yeah.
But what we like to do on Mustaches and Coffee, we like to get to know our guests a little more. So these are going to be some questions geared more towards you, Joseph, the person that you are, and it's rapid fire. So just whatever comes to your mind first. I'm going to spin it over to Ben because he's got the questions.
That's right.
All right, you ready for this? All right. So, as a child, did you have a celebrity crush that also happened to be a cartoon character?
I mean, I was a weird kid. I had so many. I just got to think back and remember like Spider-Man series. The first one came in when they introduced Black Cat.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, all right.
Do you have a favorite author?
I do. I have a few. So as far as just writing style, I would say, well, okay, actually, let me take a step back. Probably my arcing all-time favorite, and maybe it's more just because the nostalgia of it all, is Jules Verne. But that's mainly because probably my all-time favorite book is The Mysterious Island. And if you've never read that, I highly recommend it. There is a twist that a lot of people don't know about in that book that is never been, be honest with you, I don't understand any of the movies that have been made based on that book. That book will tell you everything from like how to get food to the point of how to like smelt iron ore to make steel. And this was written in the 1800s, and he's taught Leyden jars for making batteries. I mean, the guy was so ahead of his time. It was
So since we are Mustaches and Coffee, we have to ask you, do you have a favorite mustache? It's a celebrity style or your own style or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously it begins and ends with Tom Selleck.
Good choice.
Yeah.
I liked in Princess Bride, Inigo Montoya's mustache.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, you know what? You guys can answer this question.
Uh-oh.
We'll try.
Yeah, but yes. What does it take to describe a man as a mustachioed man? I asked you guys that question.
I would say length of time. Personally, I don't know. It's my thought.
Length of time, Isaac?
Oh, I mean, that's a loaded question because if you think about it, it does take a lot of talent to be able to style a mustache because I think you also have to have the genes to be able to grow a mustache to get it to a length. Some people can't grow it. Like your Tom Sellecks of the world, they have that like full mustache, but I think
it's like a shelf.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a tough question. I'll be honest. I think I could be on both camps. I think it comes down to, honestly, if you have a mustache that is your personality, that is what you're capable of doing, whether it's shorter or longer, I think that's what makes you the mustachio man. Yes.
So, yeah, I tend to agree. I would say that, if it's somebody like a Tom Selleck, then length of time. He is a mustachioed man based on that. But like if I saw some guy who's just got, like I don't know if you guys know about like the detective Poirot, the books. They're with Agatha Christie. She's kind
Sounds
of
familiar, maybe.
detective. They did some movies on him. There's a series, but he he has like this, swirl and all that kind of stuff. And if I saw a guy that like had the full, I wouldn't have to know how long he had it. I'd be like, that is a mustachioed man right there. If you were to walk in the room, like look for the mustachioed man.
Yes.
And as soon as you saw that guy, you'd be like, okay, that's you.
Right.
Yeah. I think
that goes with both.
Yeah, you could easily pass up Tom Selleck though and go, no, they were referring to him.
Right. That's both. That's a length and a style thing. So I totally, that's where I would go with. Yeah. So, but to go along with that, so we ask what your favorite mustache is. We have to ask you then, what's your favorite coffee?
Oh, it's called Happy Gut.
Oh, okay.
And
think I've heard of it.
recently, that's what I'm drinking right now. So before that, I was if I prefer the flavor of espresso roast over coffee. And I think that's because my first job in computers, I was about 16 years old. And this is back when you could like smoke in a hospital while a baby was being born. You could smoke everywhere. And it was working with these two guys who smoked and drank coffee all day long like crazy. And that to me merged those smells together. So that to me, when I smell like a Maxwell House or a Folgers, just a regular brewed cup of coffee, it smells like cigarette ash to me. I mean, it does. It just melded those two things.
Yeah.
Just like that's how it smells.
Yeah.
And so I'll drink those still because I still enjoy the flavor of coffee, but those I would have to put like more cream, sugar, and that sort of thing to just mushroom coffee. And I thought it was like coffee, like just mushrooms. It's not. It's coffee, regular coffee that just has some of these mushrooms in it. But oddly enough, something about adding that takes away that edge of cigarette, to me at least, cigarette smell to it. And it's just like, man, that's a good cup of coffee. Like it does not taste, there's no mushroom taste at all to it. It's coffee. I mean, that's just, but it does have some benefits to it. So that is my favorite coffee right now.
Yeah.
Sounds
there
good.
you go. We can always find good coffee somewhere in some shape or form if like you said, it doesn't appeal to you. So we appreciate those answers. Now you're off the hot seat. That was our questions for you. But again, we want to thank you for coming on, being able to share a little bit of a glimpse of your book, and we'll give you a chance to kind of share. There it is, folks, right there. If you
can go. There's it's on Facebook. If you look up Joseph Hartwell author page, you can find the links to where you can get it on iBooks. You can get it Barnes and Noble, Amazon Kindle. There's like 10 different outlets, and there's a audio version that it will be coming out before the end of this year that people will be able to get on Audible as well.
All right. So, there you go.
Perfect.
Sounds great. Well, before we wrap things up, let's go ahead and move into our last segment.
Last Drop.
Brought to you by Contempa-Roast Coffee and Roastery. Visit our store or our site at contempa-roast.com today.
Take it away, Ben.
Oregon City is telling people to stop putting googly eyes on all their statues because it is costing the city $1,500 to remove the eyes due to the adhesive used on the googly eyes. I personally think that it adds to the art, and if you tell people, no, stop doing that, it's just going to make people want to do it even more. If they want more tourists in their city, I think they should put googly eyes on everything. That's what I got.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of understand. Maybe the adhesive is damaging the statues, but I get what you're saying. It does make it a little more appealing for tourists. I could see that for sure.
Are we just gonna run right over the fact that they're saying it costs $1,500?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's costing them money there. So
wait. 50. I don't. But what I'm saying is, like, I will go do it for $500. Just
Exactly.
pull it off and give me a little can of Goo Gone and WD-40. $1,500? What are you talking about? Are you having the statue remade every time? The statue itself could not have cost $1,500.
I don't know.
Are you like
I
bringing
know.
the artist in? Be like, well, they got googly eyes. You're going to have to make it again. Okay. In that regard, I'd look for the artist because he's probably behind it.
Yeah.
And putting googly eyes. I keep getting commissioned to redo it every single time, and I make
Nice.
$1,500 every single time. What is it? I mean, that's like the $10,000 a toilet seat for the White House. $1,500.
It's an inside job.
That doesn't sound right. That's
Yeah.
those people are somebody's pocketing something like going out
Something's
there
going
for
on.
$5 and they're like turning in a bill for $1,500.
Oh yeah.
So, well, thank you for that, Ben. I guess
You're
be on the
welcome.
lookout for googly eyes. Might be coming to a town near you. So,
Yeah. So if anybody has any funny stories they want to send our way, send them at mustachesandcoffee@yahoo.com.
there you have it. So, again, thank you so much for coming on, Joseph. And we want to open this up. Is there any social platforms where people can connect with you? Or, again, just as a reminder to find your book?
Yeah, so it's like I was saying earlier, you can go to Facebook, look up Joseph Hartwell author page, and also if you find it on Amazon, there's a author page on Amazon that has ways on there to you can message me directly on there. And in fact, there's a thing in the book. There are, and I think I put it in the beginning of the book, or maybe I have it in just a description on Amazon page. But there are, and you're not to them yet, depending on how far you've gotten. There are one chapter has a reference to two different series that when you get to it, like if you're a fan of both of these, you're gonna crack up because you're gonna oh yeah, I know exactly. Or I mean, but it's like that takes place in colonial times still though. But like the way it's written, there's two series, and then later on there's a reference to a movie franchise in 3 of the chapters that that ties it in, and then in chapter 42, there's a little shout out to another kind of a cult classic book. And so I have on the Amazon page, or if you on Facebook, if you find those, shoot me a message and let me know you found them and what chapter you found them in, because they're kind of little what do they call them, like Easter eggs, little nuggets that are stuck in there that I'm curious. I mean, I crack myself up when I found them. When I put them in there, maybe people won't think of it they're as funny as I did, but the people that have found them have been like, "Oh, that's good. I caught that." So
Yeah.
let me know if you come across those on either the Facebook page or the Amazon author page. You can do that too.
All right.
Perfect.
Sounds great. So be sure to check that out, and we'll be sure to do our due diligence. So, Ben, where can people connect and find us?
Yeah, so we're on Facebook, Instagram. We have a Twitch account. So if you want to hang out with either me or Isaac and comment, we're playing different video games. Feel free to join us on our Twitch account. And you can go to our online store, as you see in the back. Actually, it's over here. You can buy our own The Hugo coffee. So feel free to get our own coffee blend. It's really good. And like I said, if you have any questions for me or Isaac, feel free to message us at mustachesandcoffee@yahoo.com.
There it is. And I'll just put it up on the screen real quick. If you have your handy dandy QR code, some people like to bring up the store, the link easier that way. That's to our online store. So as Ben mentioned, you can get coffee, you can get hats, you can get shirts, all that good stuff. We want to be sure to put that link up. Just give us a follow and check us out. All those great links that Ben was bringing out. So again, thank you so much, Joseph, for coming on. We had a great time talking about your book, and we hope and wish you the best, especially with that writer's block. We hope you get over that soon.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right. Well, that'll about do it here for now. But as we always say, don't bash the stash.
I need espresso for the depresso.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.